You saw it. I saw it. Day late, but $9 short. The morning after, TCU beating up on Oklahoma Sooners. We'll talk about it. How they coming up in here in about 10 seconds. What is good, everybody? It's your boy Jay here with Unfair Sports, talking OU football, college football, and sports in general. In this video, we're going to talk about Oklahoma falling apart against TCU. That's 2 straight losses for this Oklahoma team under the Brent Venables era. We'll discuss all about that moving forward. So let's just dive right in, all right? Are you all feeling better? Did you get it off your chest? Do you feel more relieved now that you were able to get all the screaming and hollering and bashing or whatever else you all want to do? Did you get it out your system? Good. Now, I'm curious to know, are you still on this train? Are you still going to ride this bandwagon? Are you still going to ride on the Sooner schooner? Go ahead and drop in the comments and let me know. You still here or you gone? I need to know now. And the reason why I need to know now is because we've got to taper expectations. I said this at the beginning. We have to just taper these expectations. And we saw a lot of excitement going up, and then all of a sudden it's starting to crash down. So jump in the comments. Let me know. You still here? You still riding with us? I'm still going to make content, win or lose. I'm still going to talk about the team, the players, the positive spots, the negative spots, all that jazz. But this video was delayed. I was at the TCU game. I was getting cooked while we were being cooked because it was hot and it was scorching and the sun was out beautifully the entire time. So we had no overcast, not a single cloud in sight. It was just like the same no clouds we saw in this defense in this game. So I was cooked, has technical difficulties while I was out of town on Sunday, so I couldn't get the actual morning report in. So when I got back, I was like, we'll just do it here for Monday. And so here we are. We're talking about this OU team losing this game. So I want to give that opening so you all understand. No, I'm not running from this L. I understand. We take L's and it happens. So we're going to go from front to back. We'll talk about the offense first. We're going to talk about defense. We'll talk about coaching in between. So we can kind of break down what's going on with this team. So first and foremost, our offense is not being consistent like we need. I mentioned this in my 5 things, and I mentioned this also on a live stream with a buddy, and a few people jumped in my mentions and was like, no, man, there's no problem with our offense only being on the field for 2 minutes at a time. That's not an issue. Again, we had 1 possession for over 4 minutes in this game, where this offense is literally a boom or bust setup, and that is a problem. We're not eating clock. Now, the fascinating thing about that is that when we run the ball, we seem to run it and get like 8 to 10 yards. We keep getting first downs, but the possession will be no longer than 5 to 6 plays because we end up having to punt it, either from a bad pass from Dylan Gabriel or a drop pass from one of the wide receivers. Something happens that prevents it, or we'll try to run the ball 3 straight times and we get nowhere, or we'll pass it 10 straight times, which we did in this game, and we'll get some first downs and then stall. That has been this offense. So the consistency of execution has been a problem on all sides. Dylan Gabriel's not getting himself set to throw those passes. He's not showing the comfort he was showing in the first 3 games. That's something that has to be worked on. He can put up numbers, and he's proven that. It's just not working right now. And then the run game itself, when we get good blocking, we're gone. Like, we watched Eric Gray rushing through the holes, getting first downs, getting touchdowns, going. Javante Barnes was doing it. Marcus Majors, I don't even know what happened to him. Why was he not in the game this week? Did something happen in practice? What was going on there? We didn't see Major. So it felt like there was just a lot of inconsistencies in not only the play call, but the play. I would like to blame all of this on Dylan Gabriel, like most of you are doing. He missed a lot of key passes that he should have. He also made some really good passes that wide receivers dropped. First possession, Mims fumbles. Mims does not fumble like that. So it's just, I don't know what happened there, but he did. And guess what? Turn the ball over, they score. So offensively, there's a lot of things we got to figure out, especially now. Dylan Gabriel's in a concussion protocol. If they're smart, they're not playing him against Texas. So that means we've either got Davis Bevel or General Booty playing in this game. I was in the stand screaming, we want Booty. I had the Booty shirt on. I wanted General Booty to play. I wanted to see him because we never seen Bevel throw the ball. And then when Bevel got out there to throw, what did he do? He holds the ball too long. Like, Dylan Gabriel has one of the fastest releases in college football. I think his hold is like 2.4 or 5 seconds. He doesn't have the ball for that long in average. He's a very fast and efficient passer. Bevel is not at all. He holds the ball. He got sacked. He got sacked because he was holding the ball. That's the reason why those sacks showed up. TCU finished with 4 sacks in that game. Bevel holding the ball. So I don't know. And then trying to run QB power with him. I mean, I like him, but no, that doesn't work. We should have put out Booty after that first drive, period. Let's see what the sophomore can do. He's one of the top JUCO players. We should see what he is doing. But that's offensively, that's where the struggles felt like for me. The wide receivers weren't making the catches. The quarterback was not getting the ball to them properly. A lot of things to work on. Before I get into the defensive side, jump in the comments, let me know. How do you feel about the running game? The running backs looked solid whenever they were getting the ball. We got to get Lebby going. So let me know your comments. How you feel about Javonte Barnes? He's looking like a little DeMarco Murray, right? Told y'all that. He looked really solid in his play. Eric Gray still had a decent game. First game without 100 yards, but he had 60. He was breaking it, making it happen. So besides that, let's look at the expectations on the coaches' side. We'll jump into defense. Coaches, we need Lebby to get more. The play call, I don't know what it is. It must be personnel. It's got to be that he doesn't feel like the personnel's there for everything he wants to do, because that seems like the reason why they're not doing what they need to be doing. That's one. The next piece, when it comes to that, I don't understand what's going on with everyone thinking that Brent Venables was supposed to go undefeated his first year. Period. I get that you all wanted that. It wasn't going to happen. I had at least one loss. Now we got 2. It's probably going to be 3, if not 4. But at the same time, is one of the expectations you have to remember. Oklahoma did a lot of changes when they came over. The class was because of him, the most recent class. So he's got a lot of freshmen that has a lot of potential to fit in the mode of the system that they're running. And they had to come in here and figure out who can play in the defense he's playing. This 3-3-5, you all think that all need to shift to a 4-man front. You think that's going to work? Think that's going to change much? I don't know. They may try it. They may not. But I can tell you one thing about that. If you don't have the personnel to run the way your defense needs to run, you're going to run into struggles. And what we saw in the first 3 games of this season is that we just had a whole bunch of dudes out there playing ball very well. That's what we lucked out with. These guys are athletic. They're intelligent. They're really good. But then when you go against the offensive coordinators who can scheme well, I mean, everybody talking about Colin Klein up there at Kansas State. I've heard some folks make jokes about him. Obviously he knows what he's doing with Adrian Martinez because he did it again this week. TCU, hate to tell y'all, but their offensive coordinator is what his name is. Is it Garrett Riley? Is it Garrett? Let's go see what his name is. Yep, Garrett Riley. You know who that is, right? That's Lincoln's little brother. So he's got another innovative offensive mind out there running plays. The struggle you have with a 3-3-5 defense, I talked about this in the 5 things, is Cincinnati ran one. And what happened to them against Alabama? They had veteran corners, veteran secondary, and Alabama said, we're not going to be dumb enough to throw it against this really good secondary. It's going to run down your throat. So Brian Robinson ran for over 200 yards. That's what happens. So unless you have the athletes to handle the front 7, it doesn't always work yet. And so I'm giving Venables and them the grace they deserve. I hope y'all not calling for him to be fired, because it's stupid to think that he needs to be fired this early. It's going to take time. First year coaches. I saw this post and I thought it was super fascinating. Saban was 6-6 his first year. Stoops was 7-5 his first year. Dabo Swinney was 6-6 his first year. Kirby Smart was 7-5. Kirby Smart went to Georgia, that stacked every year, went 7-5. And then Dave Aranda down there in Baylor was 2-7. Heupel 6-6 at Tennessee. Everybody else is doing great. I think the biggest one to point out is the Kirby Smart one, because a lot of people have made the comparisons and said, "Oh, Venables came in there with a whole bunch of talent. What are you talking about? Oklahoma doesn't have." There was a big turnover of athletes, and there's a lot of dudes on the team. But it takes a year to figure out who can truly work in your system. In practice, it doesn't tell you that. That's one of the key things you got to remember. Practice does not tell you everything. You got to have actual game reps against really good talent. The defense knows what the offense is going to do. They're not dumb. So in practice, that's where you run into a struggle. Now we're starting to figure out who needs to be where. And it's going to take the year. It's going to take this entire season for them to figure that out. I promise you. Because then you're going to have all those freshmen that are doing good in practice. They're probably going to start stepping up and taking people's spots. Am I mad about that? No. Can't wait for it to happen, because you want the best players on the field. And it's going to take time. So think about, if anything, Kirby Smart went 7-5 his first year at Georgia. And we know Georgia is a consistent 10-win team every year under Mark Wright. They were consistent. And so there you go. That's what it takes. So give him the year. Let him figure out what's going on. It took Stoops a year to figure out John Blake's players. It takes time. That's key. Now, let's move on to the defense before I wrap this bad boy up and put this bow on it. We're going to talk a lot more this week. I have a whole bunch more videos that's going to come out talking about just the players, talking about what's going on. Because I need y'all to have this therapy and understand that I'm a very much half glass full guy, and the sky is not falling yet. We're probably going to lose this week coming up against Texas. I hate to say it. We probably will lose that game. We're probably going to lose against Oklahoma State. Sucks that we're going to lose against all those big ones, but I promise you it will be okay, because you kind of need to sometimes step a little backwards to move forward. Unless they figure it out early. We'll see. But anyway, defensive side. We lost Billy Bowman. I think that injury caught us, because when Trey Morrison got out there, that's when that big play happened that TCU got. And I just don't feel like that's a good spot for Trey. Got to find some place else for him. Everything on the defensive side was just not good. We weren't getting pressure. So I understand the thought of the 3-3-5s not working in that spot. We probably need to start sending 5 guys on a regular basis. But we also need the secondary to hold their men. This is the one problem I have with the secondary. I have one major problem outside of not being in the right spots. One major problem. I need the secondary to start looking back at the ball. Just start looking back at the ball. When the pass is up and you know it's going to be a pass, stop only looking at the receivers, because you're going to get hit with pass interference with these Big 12 refs every single game. Now, we lucked out was that Trey that had that hit on that wide receiver that was obviously pass interference, and he leveled him after the Dylan Gabriel concussion shot that TCU took. That was an interception, and that made me mad. Now, led to 4th down. We had better yardage at that point. That was an interception. That's what this defense needs to go after. That's the only thing I like that Alex Grinch instituted on his team. Go try and get turnovers. That was an interception. Because all you had to do is when he turned around properly, he could have just came across and just shoot, just like that on him. Interception. And probably took it further than the yardage we had. Maybe to the house. Got some really good return guys. That's the type of stuff we've got to get better at. The secondary, we need to get better turnovers. The pressure on the offensive line, they know who to double. They know who to stop. We haven't seen Reggie Grimes in the last 3 games. But all's not bad. Let's talk about some good stuff with this. This defense had 4 tackles, 4 loss. Did you know that this team, this is where you see the elements of Brent Venables' defense populating. This team has, let me remind you, they're a top 4 team in tackles for loss. That's something that Brent Venables has always been proud of, because that leads to things. The problem is that we give up big 3rd downs. A 3rd down conversion was awful. Well, at least stopping them on the 3rd down conversion was awful. But we're seeing elements of Brent Venables' defense. We're seeing elements of his defense. They were 7 for 14, so it was 50%. We were 6 for 18. We at least stopped them on 4th down both times, which is a very good move forward. But we gave up almost 700 yards. We let them run all over us, let them pass all over us. This is not your traditional Brent Venables defense, but it's something that has to start. So, in conclusion on this therapeutic session, hopefully you all feel a little bit better about going forward. We have to wait and see how they figure out what players go where. We'll probably start seeing some more freshmen going out the season. And I put it to you like this. If we play a whole bunch of freshmen, we're probably going to lose a lot of games. Then y'all really going to be bad. Like, we're going to lose in a lot of ways bad. It's just they got to get used to the game. They got to get used to the speed, used to the talent they're going against. Some of them can show up as being transcendent. We'll see. But Sooner fans, jump in the comments and let me know. Are you still riding with us or not? If you're not, I understand. You can unsubscribe. I'm not even tripping. It's Gucci. I'm going to keep going, keep dropping content, keep talking about the Sooners because I still have faith that this team can do it. So, with that, I'll be back with another video probably tomorrow, a couple more throughout the week in preparation for OU Texas. And I should have a morning after on that one. I'm going to be out of town that weekend, so I'm going to watch the game in a delay. So hopefully I'm ready to see how it goes down and y'all's thoughts. But with that, we'll build some stuff up. We'll rebuild Sooners. It'll be just fine. We'll chop it up in a few days.